Hello, welcome to Elite Weather. My name is Mr. G, your meteorologist, back with you once again with another video this evening. I hope you guys had a great day today as we made our way through the midweek point. Tomorrow is Thursday, so we're going to have another weather forecast for you guys to let you know what to expect as you head out the door to go to school or work tomorrow. Our city of the day is San Francisco. You can see it there across the bay. As we have that rain moving in now with the atmospheric river. The next storm, that pretty big storm that's going to be affecting California and the Pacific Northwest. The entire West Coast is going to deal with this storm from Seattle all the way down to San Diego. Heavy rain. We're going to see heavy mountain snow, gusty winds. Some of those winds could be as high as 80 miles per hour, heavy surf, and we're going to also deal with thunderstorms down across Southern California as well. So a pretty big storm to contend with here as we have the next in the series of big storms to pound the West Coast. So let's take a look at our radar as we take a closer look at the effects of that big storm on the West Coast. So here's a closer look at our storm on the West Coast that's bringing that heavy rain and heavy mountain snow and even some thunderstorms to the area. We're also going to be seeing heavy winds along the coast, especially across central and northern California, where we're going to be seeing winds in excess of 80 miles per hour. So we have wind, we have high wind warnings in place, high wind advisories in place across northern California as well. So from the Bay Area down to Point Conception and then toward the Oregon border as well. So we're going to be looking at those very high winds. We're going to see high winds down in Southern California as well, but we're going to be looking at winds in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range, and we're also going to be dealing with thunderstorms across Southern California as well. So heavy rain, some thunderstorms mixed in there, and we're going to see some flooding potential where we could see as much as 5 inches of rain in some locations. But in Northern California, we can see as much as 10 inches of rain in some areas, especially northwestern California, Crescent City, Eureka, areas north of the Bay Area where we could see 10 inches of rain or more. But if you're in the Bay Area, we're going to be looking at generally 5 inches of rain for the most part on the high end. So a pretty impactful storm here on the West Coast. As you can see, that precipitation from the Pacific Northwest all the way down the West Coast to just off of Point Conception. Haven't moved into the LA area yet, but it will begin to make its way down into the Los Angeles area and into Orange County as we head into the evening hours on the West Coast and into the overnight. We're going to start to see that rain begin to move into LA, Orange County, and San Diego County as well. Eventually, that heavy rain is going to be making its way over into the southern desert. So, with the inland deserts of California and the deserts of Arizona, we're going to be starting to see that heavy rain. And we're going to see snow up above the Mogollon Rim up along I-40. So if you're in Flagstaff, Keeneland, Show Low, Pine Top, areas like that, we're going to see that heavy snow. And then we're going to see heavy snow in and throughout the Rockies. So through Utah, the Wasatch Range around Salt Lake City, Ogden, we're going to see the heavy snow, and the Denver area as well. We're going to also see heavy snow over Colorado, and that snow will extend northward through Wyoming, Montana, and over into Idaho and eastern Oregon and eastern Washington. We will also see some of the heavy snow and rain over some of those low-lying areas. So we're going to see a very impactful storm. But to go with that impact of the storm, we also have fairly warm temperatures in place because of that warm bubble over the western half of the United States. We are also seeing fairly comfortable temperatures in the 60s, all the way up in the Pacific Northwest, Oregon, and into Washington. We're seeing those temperatures in the 60s. So let's move on as we take a look at our maps and go through the forecast day by day here, and we're going to talk about this big storm and how it's going to eventually impact other parts of the country in about a week or so. All right, so let's move on with the rest of the forecast and take a look at our storm here on the west coast, and we're seeing that heavy rain inundating the northern California and into Oregon and up to Washington. We're seeing rain moving through Seattle, Portland, and around San Francisco, where some very heavy rain is starting to move on shore right now. So you're definitely dealing with that atmospheric river, or the Pineapple Express, as we used to call it back in the day. But here is our storm track that we're going to be seeing that track through Friday, and that storm is going to take quite a bit of time to move through California, but we're seeing that heavy rain, and eventually that's going to be sweeping through the Southland with thunderstorms as well. So we're going to be seeing some thunder and lightning associated with that rainfall as well, and very gusty winds up to 40 to 50 miles per hour down over the Southland. But in Northern California, we're seeing winds up to 80 miles per hour. So very heavy surf is going to be expected with this storm as well. So here's a look at our satellite view of this storm. Very impressive storm. Look at that common shape there. So we have a very pronounced cold front here, a very deep area of low pressure. Now, if you see the little polka dot clouds, that's indicative of cold, unstable air. Hence why we're going to see thunderstorms with this storm system, is that we have that colder air funneling in. So that's going to help with instability. So we're going to see some thunderstorms that's down in the LA and Orange County area, so be prepared for that as well. So that'll be a little bit more of excitement to add to the storm, and the heavy rainfall amounts that we're going to be seeing through Friday. So we're going to be seeing the heavy rain. The heaviest rainfall is going to fall over central and northern California, right along the northwestern coast. So Crescent City, Eureka, north of the Bay Area, we're going to be seeing that heaviest rainfall, where up to 10 inches could fall. But we can see as much as 4 to 5 inches as far south as LA and Orange County. So down across Southern California, we're going to be seeing heavy rain. But even into the inland deserts here, Indio, Moreno Valley, Palm Springs, the potential for up to 2 inches of rain in those areas. So very heavy rain, and then we can eventually see heavy rain moving into Arizona as well. So a lot of rain is going to fall across the western United States as we move through the remainder of this work week. So get ready for that. The heavy snow up across the Sierra Nevada into central and northern California, where we can pick up to 3 feet of snow in some areas there across the Sierra Nevada. And we're going to also see heavy snow over the Rockies, heavy snow down across the southern Rockies through Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, and through Nevada, through the Great Basin. We're going to see several feet of snow. So definitely a snowmaker and a heavy rainmaker. So very potent storm here we're dealing with this latest storm in this series of storms pertaining to the atmospheric river, fueled by this very strong El Nino that we're seeing this year. This is a phenomenal El Nino. I'm telling you, the weather pattern is just out of control, just out of control. Some areas are blessed beyond measure, like here in the upper Midwest. And in my area where I live, we have been blessed this winter. This has been a wonderful winter, unless you like winter sports and things like that. It sucks for you, but if you're like me, I don't really care for it. And it's been phenomenal. There's no snow on the ground. It's just excellent, 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 excellent. Can't complain at all. But here's the flood watches in California. So we have the potential, the likelihood of flash flooding from central up into northern California and into some of the foothills of the Sierra Nevada and the mountains in the Lassen Volcanic National Park area up here in northern California, where we can see heavy rain that's going to lead to some river flooding and areas over in that region. So we're going to be watching for lots of damage from flash floods. And remember, if you're driving and you see a road and it looks washed out, turn around, don't drown. And then we have a general flood alert across central and northern California, from Monterey all the way up to the California and Oregon border, where we can see the potential for a flood watch. And this is for a general flood watch for these areas where heavy rain could lead to a lot of flooding. So And here's our wind advisory. So we have our wind advisories are the ones in the light blue, but we have our high wind warnings in the dark blue, where those winds can gust up to 80 miles per hour. But in our wind advisory, we're going to see those winds up to 60 miles an hour. So near Ely, Nevada there, so central Nevada, we're going to see those high winds, northern California, and even down to southern California, where we can see winds up to 60 miles per hour. So, and we can see higher winds if you're experiencing a thunderstorm. Thunderstorm can lead to those 60-mile-an-hour gusts as well. So down in Southern California, we saw that flooding last week in San Diego. We can see a repeat. In fact, we're going to see a repeat of that flooding potential down across Southern California, as we have the likelihood to see flooding, flash flooding in SoCal. So if you're in burn areas or in the foothills and some of the valleys and over the coastal regions overlooking the valley, we're going to see flash flooding as a result of the excessive amounts of rainfall that is going to be likely down in Southern California over the next couple of days for your Thursday and again on Friday. It's going to be a slow-moving storm. It's going to take some time for the storm to move through the area. So here's a look at the snow through the Sierra Nevada, where we're going to see up to 36 inches, and in some areas as much as 48 inches of snow. So some very heavy snow. So 2 to 3 feet of snow at the pass level, and we're going to see gusty winds along the I-5 in Northern California. So we're going to see those very high winds out there. Again, another look of the heavy snow potential over this Sierra Nevada and even across the Southern California mountains. So the San Gabriel, Santa Bernardino, Santa Ynez, and the Tehachapi Mountains, we could also see some snow at the pass level, where 1 to 2 feet is going to be possible in Southern California. So, and we're going to see runoff from streams and minor flooding from the heavy rainfall, and some snow melt as well. Because this is the kind of snow that melts simultaneously as it falls, only in California. So we have the potential for record warm lows for the next 7 days here across the Midwest mainly, and we're going to even see some of that in the Pacific Northwest. Even though you're dealing with that big storm, you're on the warm side of that storm, so you're seeing some of that extra warmth as well. It's the same what we're seeing here through the nation's midsection, where we're seeing those very warm temperatures in the evening hours and the overnight, as well as during the daytime. Pretty historic stuff where we're breaking some temperature records, and we've seen some records break already. We've already set some new warm high temperatures and warm low temperatures over the last several days. So look at our forecast for Friday as we talk about how warm it's going to be across the country. Just about everywhere we have temperatures well above average. So look at the 50s all the way up into Montana. We're going to be seeing those 50s and even some 60s as far north as the Dakotas. We saw those 50s in the Twin Cities today. We're going to be seeing those temperatures in the 60s and 70s and even some 80s down across South Texas. So some very nice warm temperatures out there. Very benign weather across the eastern 3/4 of the country, with the exception of the big storm on the West Coast. But that storm is going to eventually cause problems over the eastern U.S., and we're going to track that over time. But you still have a bit of time because it's a slow-moving storm, and this storm is going to evolve and dissipate and re-emerge across the southern plains, and eventually, potentially, lead to a nor'easter across the Northeast in about 10 or so days from now. So we're going to watch this event slowly unfold. We're going to track it and monitor it and update it as time goes along. But look at these beautiful temperatures that we're seeing today. So very nice weather. Look at the warm temperatures, 80s down in southwestern Arizona. So very nice day out there today. So very warm temperatures. So something to look forward to before they get dealt that blow from the heavy rain The northern plains, we're going to be seeing nice warm, another warm day out there with those temperatures in the 40s across Minnesota and the Dakotas. But down in Missouri, we're going to see those temperatures around 60 and across the central plains as well, the 50s and 60s. So, a very warm, stable atmosphere for the time being across the nation's midsection, and that's going to eventually spread its way east. So, we're going to see temperatures warm up in the northeast as well. You're on the backside of a departing low pressure center, so things are a little bit chilly in the northeast, but count my words, it's going to warm up here over the next couple of days. Just give us some time there. So, here we are as we're going to be looking at our forecast highs for Thursday across the northern plains, again, well above average. Now, mind you, we should be in the upper 20s this time of the year across the northern plains. Our average high for this time of the year is 28 degrees. We're in the mid 40s, so well above average. That's very good. Very nice area of high pressure, keeping things nice and warm. So today, again, am I going backwards here? Okay, so as we go into our temperature outlook into February, we're going to be seeing that El Nino pattern very evident in our long-range forecast here, well above average here across the northern plains and the upper Midwest and in the Great Lakes, but cooler than average across the southeast because they are going to be dealing with a bit more rainfall. So more rainfall across the southwestern U.S. and with those storms, the atmospheric river. So it's going to be cooler across the southwest and then across the state of Texas and then down to the southeast. We're going to be seeing it typically a little bit cooler than average. We're going to see more rainfall down across the southern third of the United States, drier weather across the north. Here's your Thursday morning forecast across America. We have that big storm bringing that heavy rain and mountain snow through the Sierra Nevada and even to the mountains of Southern California. But look at that swath of rain all the way off over into the Pacific there, all the way up to the Pacific Northwest, to the Canadian border. So Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, San Jose, LA, San Diego. It's all going to be inundated with heavy rain tomorrow morning when you wake up. You go to work and go to school. We're going to be seeing that heavy rain all up and down the entire West Coast. Beautiful weather out east. Maybe a little bit of light snow over parts of eastern Canada and maybe brushing parts of the St. Lawrence River Valley there in the northeast and up through Maine. Might pick up a dusting of snow, maybe an inch or two, but some very light stuff from a weak system traversing parts of eastern Canada. But as far as the U.S. is concerned, high pressure is in full control, and a beautiful day will start your day on Thursday. That beautiful day will continue in the afternoon out east. That ridiculous storm moves further inland on the west coast, so that heavy rain is now going to start spreading into Arizona and into Nevada, that rain and snow, and into Idaho and Montana and Utah. We're going to start to see that stormy weather and that mountain snow and some heavy rain down over the low-lying areas. So, but beautiful weather out to the east. Just take a look how glorious that is. Tomorrow night, beautiful weather continues out east. Beautiful dry weather conditions out east. Above average temperatures. It's hallmark weather we're having. But the nightmare is on the west coast. That big storm, rain and thunderstorms down in southern central and southern California. Mountain snow here through the Sierra Nevada and the SoCal mountains. We're all going to be seeing some snow through central Nevada and into parts of Utah. That rain will continue. Will become showery in the Pacific Northwest. So a little bit less steady rain, but more showers and some thunderstorms across the Pacific Northwest as the main front works its way inland and you deal with the precipitation associated with the area of low pressure. Now, there is the main low is going to go into British Columbia, but a secondary low is going to develop over Southern California or the off the Pacific over SoCal and make its way inland which will become a storm system that's going to bring thunderstorms and severe weather to the southern plains in the southeast, and maybe eventually some snow in the northeast next week. So get ready for that, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, that is your weather forecast. My name is Mr. G. Thank you for watching me today. Leave your likes, comments, and subscribe to me on TikTok and YouTube. And I will see you guys all tomorrow evening with another weather forecast. Have a good evening and be safe out there and take care of one another. Bye-bye.